Hi, I'm Delit, and I want to share my love of cross stitch with you today. I have the magazine Stitcher's World to share with you, and this is the September 2003 issue, and we're also going to look at another issue for 2006, January 2006, that issue as well. Stitcher's World is a magazine that was published by Stitch World, and Stitch World published a lot of patterns and also sold kits for cross stitch, and they also published the magazine The Stitchery, which I talk about in another video. So, Stitcher's World has a lot of projects in it, not all cross stitch. You can see that from some of the designs on this cover. So this cover has several designs. Even this white tablecloth down here is one of the patterns, and this in here is also a pattern as well. There were several that we looked at. This is cross stitch, and some of the other patterns have cross stitch in them. The white tablecloth is Hardinger. And then we have some needlepoint, and this is like a combination of different embroidery stitches. And I think the rug might be either needlepoint or cross stitch. And some of the projects are not, like the whole design is not in this magazine. That happens now and then with your pattern magazines. You see a lovely design, you buy the magazine, and you get part of the design, and you didn't, like the first part of the design was in a magazine you didn't buy. You never see the magazine again, so you don't get the rest of it. So you can't ever really stitch the very project that you wanted to stitch. It's a nice way to reward people who have subscriptions to a magazine and punish those who just bought it in the magazine, just bought it in the store on an impulse when they saw it. Maybe they'd never heard of the magazine before or had a chance to buy it. Anyhow, it is also a nice way to include large designs in a magazine that it would be hard to include otherwise, but it can be frustrating. So this has some advertisements for, there's just one like cross-stitch design or a couple. A lot of them are products that may or may not still be available. At least a couple of them I thought were really cute and wanted to give you the opportunity to see those, to give you an idea of some of the things there are out there for floss storage and for frames. Again, I'm not sure if those companies are still around. Hearthside Craftworks makes the frame, the stand, for your cross stitch frame, and Patches and Planks. Patchesandplanks.com was the website in 2003. 20 years ago that made the little dresser drawer for your floss and like the little boxes. They have a couple more like frames and stands on the next page, so I'm just going to go ahead and show that to you. And this is our table of contents. So there's several pictures here. Some of them are a nice size to give you an idea of the different types of projects going on. This is your Halloween kind of project, but they have a variety of different kinds of projects, pictures you can hang, and other kinds of things you can do. And then Stitch World is kind of similar to a British magazine. It's still the size of an American magazine, but it has a nice long editorial. And then they have a whole page devoted to letters to the editor, and they feature pictures of some of the work done by their readers. And then we have a designer kind of feature where they talk about the designer and show some of her work. And then they also have a design that she has that they share with you in the magazine that you can stitch. So this designer is Rose Swalwell. So Rose Swalwell is from Scotland. And so here we have some designs that she's done. If you like plants or flowers, She has a lot of nice designs in that vein. These were showing the different seasons of the year. So here's some more. You'll see that she has texture in her designs. Here's another one. So here is the design for the magazine, and it is mostly cross stitch, and then just a couple of stitches in like embroidery. And this is one of my favorite designs in the magazine. I was going to show it to you anyway because it's part of the designer feature, but I would have shown it to you as one of my favorite designs that they had in here. I am going to skip several designs, even though they offered various types of needlework, not just cross stitch. And just show you a few of the things in the magazine, and then I can show you a few things from the other magazine. This is beautiful. It is not cross stitch, it's hardanger, but it's so pretty. I wanted you to see a close-up of that. I think I kept you from seeing all of the chart on the other page, so it's okay. And when they do a hardanger chart, you know, they just show you one part of the chart, one part of the design, and then you repeat it around the fabric, like kind of twisting it. Excuse me. But anyhow, that's how that works. Since it's the same pattern, it's just from a different angle. This has back issues that you could order from for the magazine, for Stitcher's World. And it goes back all the way to November 1995, it looks like, is the oldest issue you could buy. So I don't know if that was just the oldest issue available, and the magazine started printing before that, or if that was. It looks like it says Premier Edition, Premier Collector's Edition. So that's when the magazine started. It was in 1995. So I'm just going to show this to you. Maybe you have some of the issues of Stitcher's World. They didn't have pictures of the magazines, all of the issues, but this is the oldest issue of Stitcher's World that I have. As much as I love the magazine, I haven't gotten a hold of the other issues yet. I do love this magazine. I was really sad when I couldn't find it anymore. It was about that same time that I could find cross stitch and needlework. So I thought that Stitcher's World had turned into cross stitch and needlework. I don't know. But that could have just been a coincidence that that was when I was able to find cross stitch and needlework. There were a lot of similarities between the magazines, so that might be the other reason that I thought that. This is so cute. It's called Autumn Cottage. And why do I love this picture? There are so many things to love in it. Let's just look at some of the details. We have an apple tree. And in the apple tree, you have a birdhouse. And a bird bath nearby that. And then you have your pumpkins and your sunflowers and your pine trees. And you even have a scarecrow over here with a basket. It looks like a basket of apples or flowers. It seems like apples given when it is. You have your arbor, your fence, and so many flowers. More pumpkins. And they even show you inside the house where there's a lighted fire. And you have your hedge in front of the house, and it's just really darling. I love this. Oh, and then of course, I love this part of it. Up in the circular window, we have a surprise guest. But just lovely details. The roof, the bricks. Really, really cute design. And then on the next page, this is part of the magazine feature, something called Consider This. And they show you some products. And then at the bottom, they have some events. And so I just thought I would share that with you. don't know if anyone has done one of these cross stitches where you take a photograph of someone and your software turns it into a cross stitch design and then you cross stitch it. When I first started cross stitching, I saw that you could do this or whatever and read about the method that you're supposed to use. This was without software, where you get a piece of glass or something. So I took it out of a picture frame, put this old photograph. I think I was like a baby in the picture. Put paper on top and you trace over, you put it over top of a light that shines up underneath it. And then you trace over the picture. And then from that, if the paper you trace on is like graph paper, you can decide which colors to make, like which floss colors to use. Yeah, I was going to do that. I never did finish that, but I think I had a need to be distracted from my graduate degree at that point that night, or whichever day or however many days I spent on it trying to do that. That was kind of a difficult thing. And then, oh look, they have software for this. You don't need to do that, but I never stitched it. Anyhow, so they did, this was a series. This was Sharon Pope, I guess, that did this little cottage. And so you have the same house in different seasons of the year. So isn't that cute? You have winter, you have spring. Well, anyway, you have spring and summer and fall. I guess they didn't have winter yet. Maybe they were going to do that one next. But it didn't show them doing it next. So, but it seems to make sense that they would have done one for winter, not just 3 seasons of the year. Although some places don't get winter, so. Wow, this one is really beautiful. This one is called Shenandoah, and this is just embroidery. So yes, it has cross stitch. Here's an ornament. But it has other stitches. I can't really show you. They have a stitch diagram, but it's the pattern, so I can't really show that to you. But they have rice variation, oblong cross with back stitch. Besides cross stitch, they have diamond oblong cross, another rice variation, quadruple oblong cross, upright rice. If you know about embroidery, maybe you know what these. Oh, they do have some stitch diagrams I can show you. Anyhow, here we'll look at those. And then they use Caron collection threads. Maybe that's why it's part of why it's so pretty. I've never used Caron collection threads. I don't know if you can still get them. I don't know if they're hard to get. Anyhow, so I think that's probably it. They had a Jewish design. Maybe I'll show that to you. Every now and then you come across a Jewish design, not Muslim or I don't know the other religions, Hindu, but they do have some Jewish cross stitch. Or embroidery in this case. I don't know that there's any cross stitch in that one. It's really pretty. It said it's to celebrate Rosh Hashanah. It has beadwork and it's like a wall hanging. I don't know if you saw the beads that they did to hang down and above. Sometimes I'm busy showing you the design and forget to show you little things like that. That is a really pretty part of that one. And so, let's see. They tell you all how to make this design. So they have all the stitch diagrams and things. And then they have an explanation of this. Sometimes they have these really pretty Jewish designs, and I don't show them to you because it's just something I'm not going to stitch because of it being Jewish. But blue and white is kind of like a Jewish thing, I guess. So I like blue and white designs, so I'll think, oh, that's so pretty. But it's as likely that my friend is going to stitch a beautiful cross, no matter how pretty it is, even if she loves, pink and green or something, is that I'm going to stitch that. But I thought I would show it just because of it having the different embroidery and the beadwork, and it was really lovely. And then at the end of Stitcher's World, they have the Fran Ortmeyer article that also appears in Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, Cross Stitch and Needlework, and the Stitchery. And then it also is in Stitch World. And I had thought, partly because of that, I thought, oh, were all of these magazines one magazine that changed names? But I might be wrong about that, and they just happen to have the same article in them. Okay, so now we get to do our January 2006 issue of Stitcher's World. Look at that beautiful design on the cover. Not cross stitch, hardanger, but so lovely. You wouldn't necessarily have to frame it in a circular frame. That's a really pretty one, though. And then this part of what is so pretty about it is the variegated floss that they use. We'll just zoom in a little more. But you can imagine if that was white on white, that would still be so pretty. Or if you had done cream or any other color. With hardanger, the design is what's pretty. But this was showing how you don't have to just do monochromatic hardanger. You can use these pretty. I think back then using variegated floss was kind of a newer thing, and they were kind of trying to showcase that. So here is our table of contents. I love that it's a full page. I love how many pictures there are of all of the projects. I love that some of them kind of zoom in and give you a close look at what you'd be doing. This project is all tied up, so you can't see the inside where you stitch, but that when you pull it up, it looks like something to carry flowers in, but actually inside is a pretty design. And I think a lot of this magazine is needlework that's not cross stitch, actually. There's the black work and more than one hardanger project. There's needlepoint. But it's a lovely magazine. Here's the editorial. This is similar to your British magazine must-haves. They do that a lot in the British magazines. It's lovely. Must-haves, things that you can easily get in England, and it's very difficult to get in the United States. Even with the internet, you still like shipping and handling. It just creates a desire for something that you can't easily fill. But I enjoy looking at it just the same. And it's not always, needlework. We have beads down here. So, where this is, 17 years old. No, yeah, the one from 2006 is 17 years old. Um, some of those things may be available. They might even be more easily available now than they were then, or they might have discontinued making them and be really hard to find. Um, this is their letter to the editor section. And then they have all their different designs in the magazine. And they do have cross stitch in here. I'm going to give you a close-up on this hardanger. It was so beautiful. Sometimes I think that the picture inside the magazine, it comes out a little clearer than the cover. And then we have our stitch diagrams. I don't know if you have stitched hardanger, if you liked it or not. Um, I'm excited to try it one of these days. Let me show you the design for the little flower bag because you couldn't get any appreciation of that before. It's really cute. So that's been stitched on linen, and the way they finished it, you would have to sew these silk flowers in between your cross stitch project and the pretty outside fabric. And then your cord for tying it up would have to get tied in, fixed in here. It's called a market bag. I don't know what you're actually going to carry in this bag, but it is cute. Sometimes I feel like those things make it more like a British magazine too. Something that, it's interesting to look at, but as far as being some sort of practical thing, it's not something that I really have any idea how to use it. They give you the instructions on how to make it. And then they have, so I have to cover up the charts that they have over here, but they have the stitch diagram because some of it's embroidery and not cross stitch. Um, yeah, there's stitches there I'd never heard of. Walento stitch, JoJo path. Interesting. Okay, so then they have another designer feature. In this case, it is Sue Hawkins. Now, I have a book of designs by Sam Hawkins. I don't know enough to know if they're related. And let's just look a little closer at what she has here. These are needlepoint. And over here we have some more needlepoint in the rest of the article. Here we have some more of Sue's designs. She comments that she does a lot of small projects. So, and also here's the rest of the article. And then here we have some stitch diagrams. And here is this beautiful Hardinger table topper. And then they have some stitch diagrams for the Hardinger. And then they have the chart, which again with Hardinger is just a fourth of the chart. Or anyway, part of the chart, and you do the rest. And then they show you over here the way that they have done this pattern. You arrange it in a certain way. And I was trying to decide my favorite cover hardanger, the tabletopper hardanger, or this beautiful needlepoint. It says cushion. It's kind of a strange shape. It's just pretty, you know. And then there's an ornament here. So part of what makes it so lush and pretty is the thread choices, not just that it's needle point. Um, anyhow, so they have some really cute different cross stitch projects, but I showed you so many of the hardanger. I don't want to take the time to show you all of the cross stitch, but they have some really cute cross stitch designs. But I am going to show you this technique that they teach called Melanie's Heart, another one of my favorites in the magazine. They have like a shop finder where they mention certain magazine shops and a Hirschner section where they show a lot of the beautiful, really beautiful kits they have available, and then a section for ordering things that um, you might use, like booklets and fabric and things. Then they have a cross stitch basics section. Not every magazine has this. It's very nice for a beginner. Just the basic things you need to know. Stitch World isn't necessarily the best magazine for a beginning cross stitcher because of how difficult the designs are when it includes other work. But the cross stitch designs that they had in here, I mean, that had a lot of embroidery designs, but the cross stitch designs were actually just not that hard as far as cross stitch goes. Um, so you could not let Stitch World, you know, intimidate you in that respect, because they do have some simple cross stitch designs, even though their other projects are really kind of complicated. Again, they have the Frantics article at the end. And then I love this. This shows you some other issues of Stitch World. I loved getting to show you Stitcher's World. I was so excited to finally get around to the Stitcher's World magazine to share with you because it's a magazine I love. I have not stitched anything from Stitcher's World. I want, theoretically, want to stitch so many things from it. And one of these days when I embark on needlepoint or embroidery or hardanger, you might get to see a video from me about it. But so far I haven't. But I do love looking through my magazines from Stitcher's World. Please leave any comments you have for me about Stitcher's World or any of these kinds of techniques or projects in the comments below.